Good morning. Just testing that you were all there. Happy International Women's Day to all of the amazing ladies who join us here in the Soul Man Surgeries every single day. And we have got an international superstar of a woman coming on right now. Now, this woman, she is graceful, she is wonderful, she is beautiful, she swears like a feckin' trooper, and her name is Susan Watson!
Killing myself laughing, you're graceful. I'm the most ungraceful person in the world. Welcome and hello.
Good morning, how are you?
I'm all right, I'm good, thank you, Stephen. You started me off with my big red face laughing already. That's what happens. Every time I do a belly laugh, my face goes red.
So Susan, obviously yesterday we were in our workshop for 3 hours. Well, we were in it for a bit longer. We were in for nearly 4 hours. What a brilliant workshop we had yesterday.
It was, do you know what? It was probably, because it's the first one we've done together and you always learn things as you go, it actually was more successful than I thought it might be. And the feedback has been fantastic, really fantastic.
It really was brilliant. One thing that I really loved from yesterday was the PS Tech. I'm going to be using that. You know, that PS Tech was just phenomenal. It was really good. It was quite annoying because obviously you're having to like focus on that sound and it kind of distorts your thinking.
But that's what it's meant to do.
Yeah. See the thing that I was thinking about, the thing that, you know, had maybe caused me trauma. Even this morning, I woke up this morning and I'm like, it's not really relevant anymore. I can still feel a wee bit of something attached to it, so I'm going to use that PS.
Do it again. Do it again. It can take maybe 2 or 3 sessions to absolutely wipe the slate clean. So I would do that. Then it just doesn't matter anymore, and that's a good place to be.
It was really good though, and I also loved the Ho'oponopono. That was so good.
Yeah, that seems really popular. People seem to like the Ho'oponopono.
Yeah. I was asking everybody for feedback during it, and I was saying to them, what was your favourite part of today? Hoping they would say the meditation, and they talked about all Susan stuff. I was raging.
Come on, you got really good results with your meditation. Everybody went right down in their numbers.
Definitely, and that's the thing. You know, when I'm doing meditation with people, I think it's always really vital to check your numbers beforehand and then check your numbers after it, because you do see the numbers coming right down, halving. You know, there was people at like 8s and 9s, and then they went right down to 2s and 3s and 0s. So
I know, and not everybody might have done this. It's just the way my brain worked. I know that I was going right back into my unconscious mind when you were doing that. Without a doubt, I was aware of another journey.
So yeah, I am, and Susan said, because Susan's a hypnotherapist trainer actually, and Susan said, Stephen, you're going into like a hypnotic state, and I was like, am I really?
So yeah, I was. You had your hypnotic voice on. You were doing all like a hypnotic induction. I could feel myself just going this hypnosis, but it was really nice. I thought you'd be perfect. You'd be a great hypnotist. You would be.
Well, let's chat about that, Susan. You can do some training with me. So obviously today is International Women's Day, and I thought that today we could talk about the amazing, inspiring women that we work with, but equally the amazing, inspiring women who, you know, might be going through tough times right now. You know, I've spoken to a lot of ladies who have said that, you know, they're really struggling right now, especially in this lockdown with their emotions. Things feel like Groundhog Day every single day. I think the one thing that's really helping, especially mothers, is that they're able to take kids to school, so it's kind of breaking the monotony of being stuck at home. So when you are stuck at home, I know that we obviously do all the self-regulation stuff, the wet noodling stuff, and all of that kind of thing. What would be your top 3 tips to people who were maybe sitting at home and feeling stuck inside their own mind?
Do you know what? You always put me on the bloody spot, don't you? Piss off.
Okay.
Apologies for that, but Stephen brings out that side of me. Right, no, come back. Right, I'll give you
You told
my
me.
number one. You get on soon next, Stephen. Next time I see you, you are getting a Susan Watson slapping. Right. The number one thing I would say, even if you're not getting at the house, is to have a routine. I think a routine is really important, and sort of a structure to your day. And I'm not saying it's got to be really regimented. You can be flexible in it, but having that routine, you know why you're getting up, you know what you're going to do, and you know what you're going to achieve by the end of the day. I think that's really important. And the other thing I would say, second thing is everybody sets this level of how they think they should be. And you know what? If you don't get through the day with everything that you wanted to do, or things haven't went to plan, so what? Don't beat yourself up about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the end of the world. Tomorrow's another day. Because we tend to do that, where we compare ourselves to others or have this expectation that it's not always possible to achieve. And it's learning just to accept that that's how it is. It's fine. It's okay. And then add to your self-care as well in there, that you're not just a mother, or a wife, or an auntie, or teacher, or all cook and cleaner, and all that. Do you know what? You're actually a human being. You are a person that needs to take time out to take care for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's my 3 top tips.
That's good. That's really good. I was speaking to one of my friends the other day there, and what she was saying is that when she's speaking to people, they're saying things like, just think good thoughts. Like get the negative stuff out the way and just think good things. Just do things that make you happy, all of that kind of stuff. And I said to her, I was like, you need to acknowledge the feeling, so see if you're going through something that feels shit, like, we're stuck in a house, COVID-19, all of that stuff. Like, acknowledge it and say, this is doing my feckin' head in. Scream, shout, move through the emotions of it. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, all the nice thoughts in that can help, right? But at the end of the day, you're not dealing with, sorry, this is another swear word coming out now. You're not dealing with all the shit that's inside you. Right, at the end of the day, whatever's inside you, and I always talk about this in the workshop, you can't push it away, you can't bury it, you can't ignore it, because it just comes out at some point like a big volcano. So you need to acknowledge your emotions, and you need to actually treat yourself with some understanding and compassion and work through these feelings. And on top of that, then, think about the nice things and the affirmations, and that'll help, but they'll never remove the root cause. So you've got to give yourself a bit of space and always acknowledge your feelings and emotions. And sometimes it can be really helpful to express what you're feeling outwardly. So if you've got somebody to speak to, share it, get it out of here, get it out of your heart, and get it out into the air.
What I like to do is scream, so obviously you can do that you can do it in a controlled way, but I always think it's better to scream outside. So I was up, do you know Dechmont Hill in Livingston? Have you heard of it? No. So there's this place, Dechmont, and it's like this big hill, and then you've got this lovely forestry walk kind of around it. So I was up Dechmont Hill, 7 o'clock in the morning. There was only me, and I was standing at the top, in that point where it's got the stone thing at the top, and I just screamed at the top of my voice, not realising that it echoed right through the whole place. Wah, wah.
Did you scare all the farmers' animals? Was there dogs howling in the background?
No, but there's this guy appeared from out the woods, like looking everywhere, and I'm like pretending that it wasn't me.
Remember, it's all just energy. That's the way you've described is just a way to release the excess energy in your body. So do you know what? Things like even sounds daft. Like, remember I was talking before about pushing the wall down?
Mm-hmm.
putting your hands in the wall, pushing like mad. That is the energy. Punching pillows, or get your music on and dance like crazy and sing your heart out. It's anything to release that excess energy. But a good scream can really work. Really good. That wasn't a good scream. I just
screaming in your car really works as well. See when you're driving along and you're that really works.
Stephen, do you want to come for a chat? You seem to have a lot of yeah. Maybe it'd be good to get out in the open.
Yeah.
No, it does help. It is all just energy. Remember, all that stress is just energy. Find your own way. Some people go running. If they can, they'll just run to burn that energy up and they feel better. Or, well, gym, exercise. They can't go to the gym just now. You know what I mean? That kind of exercise.
Yeah.
Any way that you can find that suits you to burn up that excess energy will make you feel good.
I think that's a brilliant way of looking at it, though, because it really is just energy. It's just pent up energy, and it's what we've created inside of ourselves that's attached to whatever that thing is.
And just because you don't deal with it, it's just like a big volcano.
Yeah.
I used to get anger for the soles of my feet, and it literally was like red hot just coming up my whole body, and I'd just go woof into a big anger. And it was just stress. It was just stress. And then obviously when I learned how to manage my stress, I'm not like that anymore. It's been quite a long time since I was like that, but when I was younger, I was really explosive. And it was just pressure and stress building up.
I've certainly found it through that, certainly this lockdown. You know, I'm not someone who gets stressed often, but see, last week was particularly a really difficult week for me. I found that my mental health was like scraping along the floor behind me like a uninflated balloon.
And you didn't even speak to me.
No, but I was.
You've got your own therapist on hand. Anytime you need one.
I was very mindful of it though, and I was very mindful of not coming on and making anybody else aware of it, you know. And I think that's the thing, you know, if you're able to deal with it effectively, then that's good. But if you're not able to deal with it effectively and it's really dragging you back, like, speak to people, tell people how you feel, and people are really understanding, Susan, aren't they?
Well, I'm going to go back to managing things effectively, because sometimes we think we manage things effectively. I'm going to go back to the burying, pushing away, and all the rest of it.
You're going to tell me that I didn't manage it effectively, aren't
No,
you?
no. Maybe you did. I don't know. But sometimes if something really upsets us and we can push it deep inside us and lock it in that cupboard or cage or whatever we've got internally and move on with life, we think we've dealt with that effectively because it's no longer really having that impact. But remember, it's still in there, so it's not necessarily been dealt with effectively. Effectively is all about acknowledging, feeling, acknowledging, working through it and clearing. That is dealing with it effectively, not pushing it to the side. That's important, though. It is.
I must say, I was aware of it dragging behind me, you know, and I see it like an uninflated balloon, you know, a bit like a hot air balloon dragging along behind me. And what I done was I obviously spoke to you guys, all the people in the surgeries, which helps me. That raises my vibration. Spoke to my friends, feeling a wee bit down this week myself. I went to PT. You know, twice a week I go to PT. And honestly, see, when I'm in my personal training session, I want to run away. I hate it. I absolutely hate every single second of it. It's the most horrendous, horrible thing that I've ever done in my life. But see, at the end of it, that sense of achievement, it's like, wow, I feel fantastic now that I've done it. But during it, I want to vomit. I want to cry. I'm lying there like a 12-year-old girl screaming, you know, help me, I want my mum. I've actually said that during PT sessions. I just want my mum. Dave's standing there like, you're right, mate. But like, I'm doing these things that are helping to raise my vibration. I was aware of it. I was going to bed early to make sure that I was getting enough sleep, all of that kind of stuff. So, yeah. Do you think I managed it well?
That'll depend on how you're feeling now, Stephen.
Well, that's fine, because if I struggle anymore, I'm just going to get in touch with my therapist.
Well, really,
Help me.
yeah, I think when you push things away and ignore it and you move on with life, you sort of know that it's still there. I know I did when I used to do that. Even though I was coping okay with life, I always knew there was things that I still carried within me that needed sorted, that needed worked through. You sort of know if it's still there or not, even although you sort of try your best to ignore it.
Thing is, see, when I'm like that as well, the whole family suffer because I bite at them. You know, I'm like the monster. You know, so for instance, I'd been working all day, went through to the kitchen to start making dinner, and my 16-year-old had been baking a cake. And honestly, the kitchen was a bomb. So I'm like, and I just went crazy. No wet noodling, no self-regulation. I just went absolutely mad. And I feel really bad for it. See, the minute that it's done, the minute that
And what could you have done differently, Stephen?
I know. But again, it's that whole, you know, and you said this yesterday during the workshop, you have to wet noodle, you have to self-regulate 100 times
Constantly.
constantly. And I could have, instead of reacting, I could have responded by sorting myself out and going and throwing myself on the couch like a wet bit of spaghetti. Or
are you wet noodling now?
No.
Wow.
I actually feel a bit agitated talking about it.
Well, maybe that's the time to wet noodle. I know you like to put your head back when you do it. I don't need to, but my body is fully relaxed and comfy at this minute. I have no stress in my body. So remember, that's what you've got to do. Nobody knows you're doing it. You can just bring it into your life. It makes a difference.
Do you know what I've found as well, Susan? See, the more I self-regulate like that, you know, so those episodes where I lose the plot, they're few and far between now.
Yeah, they'll get less and less. And the thing is, if you keep doing it, you get what I'm going to open my jacket, absolutely roasting. I was freezing a minute ago. You get what's called a choice point. So you get that little point, that little second before you go, where you're aware that you can make that choice to relax and breathe and then change how you react. And that's what constant self-regulation gives you. So you actually start to behave with people and say things the way you want to, instead of having that big, huge emotional outburst. It does get there. And it doesn't actually take that long to get there. If you do it all the time, you'll find yourself just automatically doing it.
I would say I've probably been properly doing it for the last 6 months or so, which is interesting because it's kind of since you started doing that work with me, you know, and it really has changed my perception. And do you know what's interesting as well? See, when I do the wet noodle, you know, like you could be sitting like that, or you could just be sitting like this and just allow your whole body just to go floppy. But see, when I do it, I feel like a hum. I know that sounds really strange, but it's like a buzzing or a hum around my whole body. It's like a...
Yeah, but you're different. No, but yeah, let's be honest here, right? Everything that I've said this before, every single therapy that I do with you, you get a reaction other people don't get. Everything, right? So you're more attuned, I think, into energies or whatever it is, maybe senses round about you. So I think that's why you probably do that. Why you probably get that. Because I do think you're quite sensitive, and mainly you've got really sensitive wee ears. So much is so sensitive.
It really is, by the way.
I know.
It's funny that, because I suppose when you are energy sensitive, it's the fundamental of what I do. You know, I need to be sensitive. I need to, because if I wasn't, then I would be a really crap medium. I'd be a really crap healer, counselor, whatever you want to call me. You know, I would be rubbish at all that if I wasn't sensitive.
So which is why you experience things different. I mean, I think really, in reality, we all experience things different, but you're a little bit more different than different. you're, no, you definitely do have different experiences and different sensitivities to the majority of people that I have met in my life.
It's funny because we were speaking about that yesterday, and we were speaking about like sensitivity, but sensitivity in another way, because you know, what Susan and I were talking about yesterday was that I'm sensitive to other people's, the way that other people treat me, the way that other people react with me, all of that stuff. Because honestly, like I am really, really deeply affected by people's words, by people's actions, by the way they speak to me, by the way they are with me. And Susan was like, Stephen, I know that you've got this really lovely outlook on the world, that you know people are loving and kind, and she says, but sometimes they're not, and you have to be prepared for that.
Mm-hmm. I think the exact words I said is, as much as there's some lovely, beautiful people out there, some people treat you like a bastard.
I'm trying to clean it up and tidy it up.
It is. And some people will have that two-way relationship with you. You'll work together and you'll enhance their life and they'll enhance your life, and that's wonderful. And some people will appreciate all that you share and all that you give, and it'll make their life better. And when they can give back in any other ways, if it's friendship, support, they will. And other people in life, unfortunately, and it's just a fact of life, will just keep taking and sucking the life out of you. And I'm dead honest. You might not like to think that, but all you need to do is open your eyes to the world, and not just the UK, and all over the world. You'll see that not everybody is a pure, happy, wonderful person. And as much as you'd like to see the world through the eyes of like that, I'm probably more of a realist. You can see the world like that if you want, Stephen, right? But all I'm saying is you shouldn't open your heart to get it ripped out in front of your face at every opportunity. What I do is I will do anything to help anyone, and I genuinely will do anything to help anyone. But the self-protection still there for me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't bare my soul and heart to get shredded at every human contact. And all I'm saying is a bit of, you want to be resilient and live a happy life? Do you like a kick in the teeth every day?
So do you think what I do is wrong then?
No. No, if it's right for you, it's right. But if you're saying to me, this is how I feel sometimes and it really upsets me, then I would say to you, well, Stephen, what are you going to do to look after yourself to stop you getting so upset and drawn into that at times? Because if it's having an impact on you that isn't a positive impact on you, then there's perhaps something that you should realise, that people's behaviours, for example, are their behaviours, and that you're not responsible for that. You're only responsible for your behaviours. So you can't take on that all-empowering responsibility.
What really blows my mind, and it doesn't happen often, but it has happened, and I think the occasions where it's happened, I would say maybe 4 or 5 times over the last 10 years, where people have said, you know, like, I need to talk to you, you've really upset me, or the way that you've spoke to me, or whatever. And I'm honestly, see, when it happens, I'm totally devastated by it. Like,
I'm going to stop you there, Mr. Cranston, right? I'm going to stop you right there. You were on that workshop yesterday, were you?
I know.
Right? And what did I say about emotions? Nobody can make you feel like anything. Nobody can make you think anything or feel anything. All we feel, all our emotions are based on our own experiences, our own values, and our own beliefs. They're all internal, right? There might be something that sparked off a belief in our head that makes us feel a simple way, but it's all actually based on our own beliefs and values. So actually, you can't make anyone feel that anyway. So if I was to walk up to a really good-looking guy and think, oh, you're nice, I want you to love me now, is he going to go, oh my God, yeah, you can make me love you? No, he would. Or you, I want you to really hate me. You can't. You have no control over what people feel. You cannot make people feel anything. If we could, what a manipulative world we would live in. Could you imagine that? People having control of your emotions. That would be horrendous.
I'm always so it like it really moves me and really like knocks me when someone says that I've maybe hurt their feelings or I've acted in a way that they don't think is right or whatever. And I'm always like, oh my god, please, that is not what I meant, or and maybe I should look at that differently then. Would you agree?
If somebody came up to me and say, Susan, you've made me feel this way, right? And it wasn't a good way, I'd say, right, okay. I'd say, do you want to talk about it? Right? But I wouldn't be taking responsibility for that.
Mm-hmm.
I would be asking them, well, what was your understanding of that? What did you think about that? What did I say that brought up that feeling for you? Because I want them to recognise it's coming through in there. It's not for me.
Yeah, because usually it's always a misunderstanding, like when someone's felt like that and you actually speak about it, they're normally like, oh, do you know what, I'm so sorry, like I thought that you meant this or that, or...
Well, but is that then making somebody feel that way? Or is that a communication issue?
I think it's probably a bit of both, isn't it?
Well, no, you can't control their feeling. The communication issue might be there, a two-partly thing, but how they feel about that communication issue is absolutely up to them. You cannot control that.
And do you think that that's because of someone's experiences in life and what's led them to that point? When someone acts or reacts in a way that and everybody else is like...
Well, it really starts from when we're born, as in your relationships with your main carer. If you feel that how we react and how we have relationships, like the attachment theory, is very much based around our... It doesn't have to be a parent, it can just be your main carer. Did we feel that safe with them or comforted with them? Or did we feel we had to scream and shout and make a noise to get attention? Or did we just sort of sit quiet and not say anything to try and not get into trouble and sort of be invisible? So, I mean, how we were as kids impacts how we are and how our relationships today.
So if you've had like trauma or difficult situations in your early years, would you say that that would impact how you might react to someone else's actions then? Yeah.
Trauma... See, trauma's a funny one, right? Because we always think trauma happens to everybody. You could have 10 children all going through the same experience, but only one would walk away with a traumatic aftermath, because the trauma isn't the event, it's how your mind and body copes with it, right? So, but if you were, for example, just say you were growing up in a house where, for whatever reason, people have their own agenda, things going on in their life, things were difficult, and you discovered that it was far better to be really quiet and not speak about how you feel, and in that way you didn't get into trouble. You just sort of want to speak about what you'll tend to find, well, not tend to, but it's possible that as adults that it'll be somebody who finds it really difficult to speak about their feelings with people. If they get hurt or upset, the sort of close off behind a wall rather than actually being able to talk about the feelings, so they withdraw. Or you might find the child that really wanted attention from their caregiver, but it was really hard to get that attention. So they always took temper tantrums. They were fighting, they were angry, they were screaming, they were kicking things and punching walls and stuff like that. And by doing that, then they got attention. It might not have been good attention, it might have been either a slap or a row, but they still got attention. So what you'll find is that person grows older could be very loud and very angry and very forthright with their emotions, because then that's their way that's encoded in their brain that they'll get attention. And it's not just in romantic relationships, it's just how we communicate, if you like, communicate with people.
It's interesting. It really is interesting, because I think that, what I say to people all the time is, see, when someone acts a certain way, it might frustrate us at the time, but, that person's probably coming from a place of pain. They've had...
There's a reason. Everything we do is, even if it's explosive anger swearing, whatever it is, right? It is a method of communication. And the way we communicate has been learned in life. Not all of it's a very good way of communication, so sometimes we have to go back and work through things that's happened in our life so that we can move on from that. But you definitely, the loud, explosive anger sort of thing is usually because at some point we've had to be like that to be seen. I'm here. Can you not see me? I need to be heard. And I know I see a lot of people that the wall comes down and they feel really hard to connect with people and they feel closed off and they just really can't speak about their emotions at all. And that's normally because they just want to sort of merge in with the wall, if you like, and disappear or don't want to get into trouble. I mean, I recognise that from myself, definitely a lot. I mean, most people who know my story anyway know that I was in abusive relationships, and from that I learned to shut my face and not speak and be very quiet. I mean, it's a terrible thing to see that me and my daughter could just move our eyes, and we used to communicate with our eyes, and we knew what that was. No, don't say anything, or no, go up the stairs now. Just, you know, we used to, without even moving our heads, we could do that. And I used to very much after that, whatever I felt, I used to have that wall coming down. And I literally, for 2 days, I could not say a word. It's not because I didn't want to speak, it's I physically couldn't say a word because it was like I really wanted just to disappear. So I understand when people are in that situation. But the good news is because I'm sharing that with you, is that you know that you don't have to be like that forever and that you can overcome that. But I think it's once you start to feel safe and secure in your life and you know that there's no risk there. So, yeah, it's a long way around to answer you, Stephen. But yes, people, however they react to their emotions and feelings, there is a deeper root reason why that happens. That was a long way around to say that, eh? Sorry, folks. Was a wee lesson there for everybody, a wee share.
A nice wee bit of self-disclosure there as well, you know, because it is International Women's Day, and there's there's a lot of empowerment for women who are going through tough times. You know, you've been through tough times. You've been through really quite awful, abusive situations. You know that you've pulled yourself out the other side of, and you've learned, and you've from that it's given you that ammunition to share and help other people. Which, do you know what? I am in absolute awe of you because, you know, and probably don't say it enough actually, but
say it more. Say it.
I don't think anybody quite realizes the hard life that Susan's had, you know, up until this point. Because she doesn't talk about, you know, you guys that, hi everybody, but she has had a really shitty time and been through some pretty traumatic experiences, and to go through that and come out the other end and be helping and supporting many people, I think is an absolute testament.
But actually, I want to say something though. I wouldn't be sitting here doing what I do unless I had lived the life that I've lived. Because it was my own life experiences and working through that that actually made me realise about all the other people, men and women, who are out there feeling how I used to feel and thinking this has to be forever. This is my life now. No, it isn't. That's what I would say to them. Everything that's happened to me, and I've had lots of things happen to me, has actually turned itself round. Instead of being something that holds me back, it's something that actually gives me my strength and power to move forward and actually help people make a difference to their life. So I'm actually, it sounds a strange thing to say, right? I'm really grateful and really appreciate the life that I've had, and I wouldn't change any of it at all, because all of that makes me who I am today. And I think for the first time ever, actually, in my whole life, I'm actually really comfortable with who I am, and I can accept myself for who I am and all my faults, and I've got plenty of them, but they just didn't bother me anymore. It's a case of people either like me or they don't. Simple as that. But at one point I would torture myself, oh no, they don't like me, what's wrong with me, I'm a flawed person and all this, and now I'm like,
do you know what? One of the things that what you're saying there, it's really making me think, you know, it doesn't have to just be in your you know, your home life. It could be that you're in an abusive relationship in a friendship.
Uh-huh.
It could be that you're in an abusive relationship at work. You know, your
Yep.
workmates.
Yep.
You know, one thing that I used to absolutely hate, and see when people say it to me now, I'm like, whoa, no, deal with it now. When they say, I need to have a word with you later. That's abuse.
Mhm.
That sends someone into this awful feeling of torture for 8 hours of their day, and they're waiting to the end of the day.
No.
You know, so
You don't do that. If you're going to say something, you take when you speak to that person there and then. And it is, to me, I do think it's a form of abuse. It's like bullying. It is. It's undermining somebody, and it's making them have 5 hours of feeling like shit, basically, and worrying and being feeling sick to the stomach, waiting for whatever's going to be said. Stuff that. Say it right away. This is me getting back into my swearing zone. Sorry, folks. But
yeah,
it is. I can see why it annoys you, Stephen, because it's not the way to do things.
I've had people, you know, even at work, right? So I've had, you know, like, and they don't mean it obviously, but some of the team will say, "I need to talk to you later," and I'm like, "No, talk to me now," because I want to burst into tears when they say, I need to talk to you later." It's terrible. So I would
It's
never do
probably
that.
because I take it somebody's done that to you in the past. I want to talk to you later, and
Yes.
then you've had a really hellish day, and then that talk, it's been a really difficult, upsetting talk.
Yeah, and do you know what? It was one of my team. It was a member of our team, and they came in the morning and they said, "I need to speak to you later." And I was like, "Well, speak to me now." No, I want
Sounds
to.
almost like a threat, really, doesn't it? When somebody
Yeah.
says that.
So I had to go through my whole day like feeling sick. I went out the back that day for a cigarette, and I burst into tears out the back. People didn't see that very vulnerable side of me though, you know. And I came back in, had to work through my whole day. My work was crap that day because my emotions were all over the place, and everything kind of snowballed. And then it got to the point at 3 o'clock when they were like, "Right, wait till everybody goes."
Well, I'm going to push something out to you there, Stephen. This is what I hear. Where was your boundaries?
There was none, and that
Why was that person who was in your team telling you what to do and when you would talk? Where is your, wait a minute, I'll give you 15 minutes, then I'll be back, and then we're going to talk. You have your boundaries. You're entitled to your boundaries.
it's funny that though, isn't it? And do you know the person locked the door, and I'm like, that person doesn't work in our team anymore. But
You've got to have your own personal expectation and boundaries.
I was,
As much as I know how much a team player you are, and you absolutely are, and you're probably the strongest team player I've ever met in my life. Seriously, you want everybody to be on. You want everybody to know that they're part of this soul man family, and I get that. But at the end of the day, you are running a business. Whether you like to be called it or not, you are the owner and the boss, right? So there is a boundary there. I'm sorry, there is a boundary there, because you will always have times when you're going to have challenging and difficult conversations. And these challenging and difficult conversations become, oh my God, so much harder when there just doesn't need to be a big boundary, just that wee boundary. You need to have that. You do, because everything becomes more painful actually for your staff. They get hurt more, and for you.
yeah.
So that is my lecture for the day.
Do you know Claire's watching as well? Claire always tells me, she's like, "You need to be a bit harder. You need to have boundaries. You need to do this. You need to do that." And like, it's not even a bad thing, because she's like, you don't need to be the big bad boss, because you could never cross like that, Stephen. She says, but you just need to have that, like, no, this is what I want. This is where I want things to be. And this is, and I do that, right? But I do it in a really nice, gentle way.
Yeah, but what you've got to do is have clear boundaries, as everybody does. We all need to have that in life, right? But as an employer, you need to have a clear boundary, because it's actually fairer on the people that work for you. and it's fairer on yourself, and it's a two-way respect thing. And I'm not saying it isn't there just now, but it actually makes life easier for your team and life easier for you. Because if I was like really, really good friends, there was no boundaries, right? Which I'm not with you, so it's okay because you're not a good if I worked for you, right, and you're right, I really liked you and you were a good friend and we got on great, and then one day I'd done something, you had to take me away. And you said, Susan, come here, what have you chat, right? And you told me about this. I would be, my heart would be ripped. This isn't my boss telling me this. This is my friend, and I would feel like so upset, and I would find it far more harder to take. And I might even start to think that in some ways that could impact our friendship. Where if that boundary was there, it wouldn't, because I would already have accepted mentally and emotionally that this isn't Stephen, my friend. This is Stephen, my employer, that's speaking to me, and that's the difference.
It's a hard one, eh? I think with that situation though, you know, I certainly, I'm just too soft. They said what they had to say, and I was like, no, please don't feel like that. Please don't think like that. And they walked away. They were like obviously talking to everybody else and creating problems, which actually there wasn't any problems. Putting things into people's heads, creating problems, and I was honestly sitting there like crying like a baby, thinking, "Oh my God, how did I allow?"
Well, I'm going back to the boundary wouldn't have allowed that to happen. But you know what? There's a lot about you've been who you are that makes you that special person. So do we really want to change, Stephen? Probably not. Absolutely not, actually. But you want to have a wee bit of self-protection in there so you don't take things so personally.
I've tried to change it and I can't change it.
That's maybe just who you are. And you're just going to have to accept that's who you are. But I've got, God, I'm roasting there. I've got 2 heaters on them. It's up to you. If you want to change that and you want to be able to develop boundaries in a nice, friendly, constructive way that keeps you happy and keeps your team happy, then why not book a little coaching session with me, Stephen? And we can do that.
I think I can, but I think
is it one? I mean, there might be that you can do it, you just don't want to do it. Two different things. Yeah. Nobody can tell you what to do. You know if things are right for you or wrong for you. I mean, the only time you would go for coaching or to see a therapist or that is when you know you want to change something. Mm-hmm. So if you personally don't want to do that, then that's absolutely fine. I mean, I like you the way you are.
I don't think
I like you. Because I can take advantage of you and manipulate you, get my own way with you.
Honestly, I don't think I could change it, but what I think I could change is maybe just a wee bit of the process and how, you know, how people communicate, and you know, like actually that's not okay to.
Yeah, you've got a very warm, welcoming personality. And although you don't always show it publicly, I know there's a side of you that's like, fuck up.
Oh, Jen. There's like 20% of my character, well, 80% I'm like, 20% I'm like, fuck you, bastard.
Yeah, I would say that, yeah. But that's good, because that's a nice balance, eh? We didn't want anybody like so sweet and nice 100% of the time. You've got to have that ability to say, wait a minute, stuff this. That's what I like about you. Because you say, he actually says that to me quite a lot, believe it or not. And I'm such a gentle soul.
It's funny because Nikki often says to me, she's like, see when I'm like having an argument with her or we're bickering, she'll say, I'm going to film you and put you on your soul man, and they'll all see that you're not really a spiritual person, you're just a fucking dickhead.
We can all be like that though, eh? Every one of us. I think if anybody pretends they're all sweetness and nice all the time, they're not quite telling the truth.
Exactly. You know, like, and I suppose that's the thing. You know, we're flawed. We're human. And are we flawed though? You know, it's okay to be a bit of a numpty sometimes. It's
well,
okay.
The way I always say it is, we're all perfectly imperfect. Every one of us. We're perfectly imperfect. And that's why I come on these videos and people see the real me, and I swear and I do things that people must think, my God, she's a therapist. She's a coach. But I want people to see the real me and see that I'm a human being. And do you know what? If you come and see me, the likelihood is that I will swear if you come and see me too, because this is who I am. And that's the bottom line. And people can judge it. I want to see her, or is she like, woo, when you go and see her? But people can make that choice.
I think it's such an empowering thing, though, to speak about your vulnerability and to speak about, the stuff that you are. You're not just a spiritual guru. You're not just a therapist. You're a human person. You've got emotions. You've got feelings. You have needs. You've got all the. It's like the teacher. You think your teacher sits in a cupboard all weekend till you go back to school.
Yeah, I know, we do.
I remember
We sort of put people in boxes, eh?
Yeah.
There's Stephen, spiritual person, Susan, the therapist, so and so the teacher, and we forget they're actually people and they've got lives and emotions and feelings and thoughts and good days, bad days, and all the rest of it.
Yeah. It's funny because when I do any kind of training with anybody, so like our trainee mediums, who have all been working with us for the last year, I say to them, never, ever, ever put me on a pedestal, because I am only as good as my last message. I've got more experience. I've obviously been a working medium for 23 years. I've done a lot of work spiritually, in a full-time capacity, probably more than most mediums and spiritual people. But never ever put me up there, because I truly believe that everybody is just as good as each other. And they're like,
And I have heard you say that before. So it's not just on here. I've heard you saying that when I've been in the shop.
And do you know, the thing is, like, people will say to me in the shop, we want you, Stephen. They just want you. And I'm like, no, they think they want me because, I am the soul man. But actually, they're getting you today, and they're probably getting a better reading from you than they would from me.
Yeah. I mean, I've been in the shop. Obviously, I don't do readings and things like that. That's not one of my gifts. But I sort of loiter about and I listen and I watch. I do. And I obviously see the impact of people that I have sat with. Oh, I've watched them with Kelly and I've watched them with April. And that's the two that's generally in the shop when I'm there on these days. And I've seen the emotions move in the people's faces that they're talking to. And I've seen the tears and I've seen the, oh my God, thank you. And it's actually, for me watching, because that's a new area for me, it's, I can't even put it into words. It actually really surprised me.
It's a healing.
And it was. And I think I actually said that once to April. I'm actually thinking of this couple, there's 3 people that are at a table once actually, and saying it afterwards, do you know, you're doing exactly the same work as me, but you're doing it in a different way. That I maybe take people down more a thinking, talking, but that work, without a doubt, is healing. But it's like an instant impact it can give people. We're really a way to release all this emotions, and I think it's really wonderful. And I would never have known that if I hadn't came to work in the shop, because I've always been a bit a skeptic. Stuff that's a little rubbish, and I have, right? But my eyes have been opened a lot more. And I think I even told you that when I came to work in the shop. Listen, Stephen, I'm not a believer here. Didn't think I'm a believer here. I'm just here to work. But actually,
we're not here to prove anything to you.
You did. But actually, I'm on a bit of a journey myself now with what I see going on. Definitely, without a doubt. It's opened my eyes and mind to quite a lot of different things. And obviously, we're working with you and things that you've came out with, and I've been like, oh! It's taken me a bit by surprise. So, yeah.
I love that you've said that, though, Susan, because all of the work that I've done with the guys in the shop that are like April and Kelly, it's been very much all generated around kindness and, like, how you treat people and how you speak to people, and that's the ethos of our team. You know, they're very. I always see like Claire and Siobhan, because they've been with me for the longest. Claire and Siobhan are like the spearheads for that. You know, they help to share that beautiful message of kindness, and it translates right through the whole team, and it's really wonderful to see, because everybody helps each other, everybody's working with each other. You know, it really is like a family. I'm sure that.
No, it sounds really corny to say that. Like, it really does. And I know I was like, oh, cheesy, but actually, I went to work in the shop initially after talking to you, obviously, to bring another service into your shop, but also to take me out of always working alone. So at least have a couple of days a month around people. But it's so welcoming, the atmosphere. It's not even one thing. It's like the whole everything about it also it gels into this very special place. And I'm not saying that just to bum you up, because I think your head's big enough even, right? But I actually think it's a great place, and I would recommend it to anybody. And I know that the last time we were on, you were talking about that you'd set up a little area for people with a sofa and books. I can't imagine anything more wonderful than being stressed and having that wee corner with all that going on around you and the smells and just that special feeling in your shop. And it is. I would go and sit in there and just chill. So you might find that it's me sitting in the corner on days that I'm not working.
We might need to put it on the booking system. You know, the sofa area, because
I think it'll be really popular. I think it's going to be like a really special little zone for people who just need that.
For anybody who missed that, by the way, what I've done is, because we've got more seats now in the shop, we've got an extra table. Well, we've got an extra 2 tables. What I've done is I've created a sofa area. We already had 2 sofa areas, but we've got an area now where there's a sofa and there's books and magazines there. So, and those magazines were very lovely, very kindly donated by Diane Dewar, who gave me what felt like a dead body in a bag. I actually opened the thing and I was like, ah, Christ, what's in this? And it was fully like Mind, Body and Soul magazines. So obviously we've not been able to use them with COVID-19, but we've got all of these magazines. We have got lots of spiritual books, and you'll be able to just sit on that sofa. We'll provide you with free tea, coffee, and a biscuit, and you'll be able to sit there and just chill for an hour. And I think what I'm definitely going to be doing is putting it on the booking system. You know, it's a free booking. You basically book your time on the sofa. Once your hour's gone, out. I think it's a great thing. I think people are going to need it coming back.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too. And talk about booking systems, I'm going to look at what I do in your shop, and I'm going to have to get you to update your booking system for me, because I think everything's changed really since the last time I was in the shop.
Yeah, it has. Or there's lots of changes actually. So what's going on right now is this week, the electricians are in, and they're basically rewiring the whole shop. So they're rewiring the shop. The lighting's all getting changed as well. So wait till you see it. It's going to be phenomenal. I'm so excited.
Can I have a nice bright light in my room?
Yes.
But that can be dimmed down if I wanted.
Yes.
For some things I need a bright light, and some things I need a dim light.
All the rooms are going to be really brightly lit, but you can dim down the lights in all the rooms. So.
But then I'm a happy person already. How good's that?
Aye. So yeah, I'm super proud of that. I don't know how we got onto that subject. I think it was the whole like our shop is our family, but you know that's the thing that we need to actually start talking about as well. You know, because we're going to need people to start booking in, and we're going to need people to fill up our diary, because you know we've been closed for best part of a year. We've had government grants that have helped us to pay bills and things like that, but you know I don't think anybody quite realises like how much of a siphon that is.
Right.
You know, I think we worked it out as we've lost like £34,000 over the last year. And you know, government grants don't even cover half of that. So, and I know that there's other businesses that are much worse off that haven't been able to access grants and have had to close down as a result of it. So, you know, we're in a lucky, fortunate position, I suppose. But equally, we're going to need people to book in. We're going to need people to be there and be part of the shop.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing people back face to face as well.
Yeah.
And of course, coming into your shop on a Friday, well, 2 Fridays a month. I'll maybe put it down to 2.
She's talking rubbish. She's going to need to be there at least 4 Fridays. In fact, she's going to need to be there at least 2 days a week, four weeks out of the month.
I'm not even going to say anything.
But we'll let her.
Do you know we've been talking non-stop for an hour?
I know. I'm really sorry. Everybody that's been commenting, I'm so sorry. I'm just going to jump to your comments. Have you been able to see the comments? No.
No, I don't see comments. Stephen just doesn't shut up, does he?
It's your fault. It's not mine. So Gina's saying there, yep, boundaries. James is saying big team player and the foundation, Susan. Claire is saying, oh, no, wait. Totally agree. You lead the ship. Captain takes responsibility and boundaries. Claire saying, I am forever grateful for you giving me a job just to be me. Love you, bro. Aww.
See, there you are. Nice love. You know what, though? There's something special about people just letting you be you.
Yeah.
And that is absolutely true. Because some people always want something different. And if you actually meet somebody that just lets you be yourself, that's like such a gift. It really is. I've probably only ever met, outside my family, maybe two people, 3 people in my whole life that have just let me be me. All my faults and all the rest, it just let me be who I am. And that is a wonderful thing. That's even Claire saying that. That's amazing. It's lovely.
It's lovely. It really is nice. I think that that's how we should live as humans, though, isn't it? You know, we should all just accept each other for everything that we are and just be.
As long as it's a nurturing situation to be you. You know, what I've found, the people I'm talking about, I was a scarred, traumatized person that was fighting just to function in the world. But when I met these people, I'm actually one of them was my husband Scott. When I met him, he gave me an environment just to be me, but it was an environment where being me allowed me to grow and develop and heal. So it wasn't to stay stagnant in me. It was an environment to be me where I could actually start to make the changes I needed to make in my life to be a happier, healthier me. So I thought that's what I think is quite important.
I love that. That's amazing, isn't it? So yeah, find people that help you grow.
Yeah.
Because like James said the other week there, if you're not growing, you're dying.
Yeah. And I'm just constantly now it really feels regretting it because now I get on his nerves. Because it's like, for God's sake, Susan, you've changed so much since I first met you. He goes, you're the most annoying, happy person I've ever met. And I've told you that before. And I'll just say, well, you are like this. And it's not going to change now.
I love that. That's how it should be, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I always remind Nikki as well. Nikki will say to me, you're just so annoyingly happy all the time. And I'm like, listen, I was annoyingly happy when I met you. What's changed?
Yeah.
She's like, well, nothing. But I thought you might have grown up a bit. And I was like, never.
That's what I get told as well. That and I absolutely know it's true. Scott will say like, I'm 61 going on 4, and I'll say you're absolutely right because I am so connected with that wee girl inside me. And that's where my stupid humour and all that comes from, this little child in me. I think I'll always be like that. If I'm fortunate enough to be here at 90, I think I'll still be like a 4-year-old inside.
I love that.
I like it.
See, one of the greatest things that we do at work, and I love this, and Claire watching as well, she'll be able to testify to this. But I love at the end of the day when we've got all the customers out and we put the music on, and there's this song Claire used to always play, which always reminds me of this, and it's you know that I love bad bitches. That's my. Right. So Claire would be like washing it down, dancing in the shop, and we do that often. We put music on and we just dance in the shop.
That's lovely.
And it's just a really nice way of releasing all that pent up energy, I suppose. I just love it. Anyway, I'm going to shut up now, but
I think it's time for us to go away. I think everybody's saying, hurry up, Susan, hurry up, bloody Stephen, go away, you're going to be finished now.
I know, we are at that time, but I hope that, I don't hope at all, I know that people watching this today will feel inspired and uplifted. Please use the comments to let us know how you've enjoyed today's surgery, because it's been a bit of a leafy lane, I suppose. We've been chatting about an awful lot of stuff. But I have to say that, you know, on this day, sometimes we probably don't share it enough. But, you know, on this day, I am so grateful for all of the amazing, inspiring women in my life. You included, Susan. You make me want to be a better woman. Sorry. But genuinely, you inspire me. Everybody really inspires me, and I'm just so grateful for all of the amazing people that are in my life, male and female, and children and dogs and cats and budgies and whatever else. But especially on this day when we're appreciating amazing women in the world. So thank you for being one of those amazing women, Susan. And thank you guys for being amazing people watching this and tuning in every single Monday and Friday where Susan and I talk utter shite.
Yes. Utter.
So yeah, thank you so much, everybody. And I will see you tomorrow with a change of... in fact, no, we've got John tomorrow. I keep thinking this is Tuesday. Tomorrow with John Seary talking all about energy. So we're going to speak about energy tomorrow with John, like we always do. Then on Wednesday, we have got Nicola Henderson. So Nicola's coming on and she's talking all about her coaching business. Nicola was on a few weeks back. Lovely Irish girl. She's taking place of James this week. And then on Thursday, we have got a very special guest, and you're going to see the very vulnerable side of a very well-known medium. So we're talking all about her journey to where she's at right now. I'm not going to tell you who it is just yet. And then on Friday, we have got Dreary Drawers on again.
Yeah, that's me.
I'm only joking.
What a miserable sod that Susan is.
I am kidding, honestly. But thank you, everybody, for today, and we will see you tomorrow. Susan, thank you so much.
All right.
I'll let you say goodbye. Bye.
Be strong.